Good afternoon, everyone, and my name is D Mamac, and today we will be discussing about local history as well as the brief history of Mindanao Islands. And I will be your first reporter. I will be discussing about local history. So, what is local history? It is the key to understand the different cultures and perspective of the small community. It presents the past events and experiences of a single communities that live equally unique among all others. So local history is the study of a specific or a particular community or a smaller unit of geography. It deals with local institution, groups, hometown heroes, local events, and economies. And local history is closest to the people's heart and consciousness because it reflects their own identity, experiences, and aspiration. It is like the interpretative recreation of their past of their locality, embracing its political, social, economical, and cultural life. And also it gave us details or clear details about their own culture, religion, nature, tradition, and etc. of a particular geographic locality. And local history is also the foundation of the national history in order to completely read and realize, because with the collective recordings of the local history and or local events, this would give us a clear understanding what really happens about our country's history or the national history in general. And also the goal of local history is to allow the students to be directly engaged in doing it. When the students participate in gathering data, they should bear in mind that this will bring them the higher sense of community involvement. The students will learn to analyze data with careful and critical eye for the most intricate details and enable them to question the foreseen data. It's like this would allows the students to think outside of the box and introduce a new way in processing the data as well as expertise in choosing word in our research or writings. And the students must follow the standard criteria using reliable sources, truthfulness and adequacy from eyewitnesses, and acknowledging authors' biases and personal biases, and developing skills in questioning and inquiry to seek answer. And also, why local history matters. Local history gives us a whole new perspective towards crucial events that took place in our communities. By understanding more of local history, creates historical patterns that transform into detailed stories that tell the beginning of the huge event and the lives of ordinary individual. And it's also very unfortunate as well that there's only few limited writings that were done to include local history. For most of us, history would mean to understand the rise and fall of civilization, and it is also just as beneficial to see history in the small unrecognizable events of our family, friends, or certain locality as well. Like for example, in Davao, have you tried to ask yourself, asa gikan ang Davao nga word, asa gikan ang Butuan na word, or asa gikan ang Zamboanga nga word? With the study, or if we will try to study the local history of our community, this would actually give us answer to those questions as well. And that's the reason why local history is also important in the national history of our country.
Hi, I'm Curt, Masayao, the next reporter. So the first topic that I'm going to discuss is what local history teaches about community. Do you know that the general locations and common objects in our community that can follow the extensive ancestry of previous generations in the place we live in have a different meanings and have a big impact on us? So this is what local history teaches us about community. but sad to say, only a few individuals know their own region's lineage behind their community. In local history, we will gain a better grasp of understanding the past and perceiving the present by learning more about our own community's origin. It helps us to understand the different meanings and histories behind those locations and objects in our community. One of the example is the story behind Cotabato City. We all know that there is a story behind the city's name. Those objects surround within the cities, those general locations within the Cotabato City. There is a story behind that, and by the help of local history, it helps us to know, to understand what are those history behind. So it means the historical knowledge we wish to learn is all around us. So instead of going places far away from us, such as America, Australia, and etc., we can instead learn the history of our own community's history, so that we will be enlightened after reading and understanding so much about the past history of our local places and how it managed to become the community that it is right now. So that is what local history teaches us about community. The second topic that I'm going to discuss is what is the importance of local history in Philippine history. So local history is indeed relevant in Philippine history because it has a stronger approach to the people's identity, their ancestry, and who they really are. But it is sad to think that only a few Filipinos know of their history because of incompetence and how their mindset is focused more on other history than themselves, which creates limited backgrounds of their own history. So the utmost significance in writing of local history is related to the creations of national history that cannot just be scorned. Great events that happened in the past cannot just be set aside. They need to come up with local history in the awareness of divergent and insufficient nature of Philippine history, because general history, based on what I have observed, general history is to focus on the history of the northern part of the country. Though there are essential events happening in Visayas and Mindanao that are put in, but they are still forgotten, and the cultural and historical numerous ethnic groups are also ignored. The problem is that writing history was tied up to the restraints of Western standards. So it also observed that the data gathered in Philippines history is borrowed from foreign sources which manifest biases. This also restricted the national historians from coming up with the real history of the country. The task of a national historian is to write a complete history of the country instead. So because of this, it gives them a harder time. One must realize that every nation is composed of regions, provinces, cities, and communities, and no town or province exists independently of the country, and vice versa. We may never achieve a fuller understanding of the Filipinos and Philippines history if we fail to study the history of our own town, cities, governments, and or regions. We may achieve this by knowing the historical contributions of our own local places to regional advancements that also led to national development. Simply put, the crucial importance is the realizations that interest in the study and understanding of Philippine history mainly depends on an individual's understanding of local origin. So the last topic that I'm going to discuss is all about the difference between local history and local history in general. So in short terms or in short words, local history focuses on the history of a specific town, cities, or region within the country. While on the other hand, or in contrast, history in general covers events and developments that have occurred throughout the country as a whole. So that's all, and the next reporter will be.
Hi, my name is Jariel M Magpusao, and my report is all about brief history of Mindanao Island. Mindanao Island is the second largest after Luzon in the Philippines. In the southern part of the archipelago, surrounded by Bohol, Philippines, Celebes, and Cebu Seas. The island is marked by peninsulas and is heavily indented by the Davao and Moro Gulfs in the south and by Iligan Bay in the north. The long semicircular Zamboanga Peninsula extends southwesterly toward the Cebu Archipelago and Borneo. And the Cotabato and Surigao Peninsulas extend south and north respectively. Rugged mountains and volcanoes occur in many areas. Mount Apo is an active volcano in the southern part of the Central Highlands. It is the highest peak in the Philippines. The island has narrow coastal plains, and the Mindanao and Agusan River systems form both fertile basins and extensive swamps. Lake Lanao, created by a lava dam, the island has a Maryjoy refuge and bird sanctuary. The red Philippine eagle is found in Mindanao. Mindanao has been considered the country's pioneer frontier because of its large expanse of undeveloped fertile lands. It did not experience substantial population increase until migration was promoted. Particularly in the mid-20th century, the chief crops are corn or maize, rice, abaca, bananas, pineapples, mangoes, and coconuts. Cotton, rami, or a fiber plant, coffee, and cacao are also grown. The timber industry is important, and there are gold, nickel, iron, and coal deposits. Chartered cities include Zamboanga City, Cotabato City, Davao City, Cagayan de Oro, and Butuan. Mindanao also has the largest concentration of ethnic minorities in the Philippines. They include the Maguindanao, Maranao, Ilanon, and Sangin. These are all Muslim groups, sometimes collectively called the Moro. Groups usually found in the uplands include the Tiboli, Subanon, Bukidnon, Bagobo, Mandaya, and Manobo. Another significant group is the Tiruray, whose religion is a mixture of Christian, Muslim, and local beliefs. Mindanao is a Muslim outpost in the predominantly Roman Catholic Philippines. Although Muslims are no longer a majority, Islamic culture is evident. There are many mosques and unique brassware, including the trees or Dadir. The autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao consisting of territory in Mindanao, along with some nearby islands, including Tawi-Tawi and Pulu. The autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao consisted of territory in western and southwestern Mindanao, along with some nearby islands, including Tawi-Tawi and Hulu, was established in 1990. Mindanao derives its name from the Maguindanaoans, who constituted the largest sultanate. Maps made during the 17th and 18th centuries. suggests that the name was used to refer to the island by natives at the time. Evidence of human occupation in Mindanao dates back to tens of thousands of years. In prehistoric times of Negrito people arrived sometime around 1500 BC. Austronesian people spread throughout the Philippines and far beyond. Native people of the Maluku Islands refer to the island as Maluku Besar or the Great Moluccas. Upon the Spaniards' arrival in the Philippines, they were dismayed to find such a strong Muslim presence in the island, having just expelled the Moors from Spain after centuries of fighting. In fact, the name Moros is from the Spanish word for Moors and was given to the Muslim inhabitants by the Spanish. Cesaria Caroli was the name given by Villalobos to the island of Mindanao when he reached the sea near it. Cesaria Caroli referred to Charles V of the Holy Roman Empire and first of Spain. The evolution of the name Zamboanga provides an interesting insight to its historical background. The early Malay settlers called the region Jambangan, which means land of flowers. These Malays who built their settlements by the river banks were the Subanons, that is, the people of the river. The Samals and the Bachos who came on their frail vintas also settled, building their frail huts along the shorelines and confused Jambangan with Sambuangan, which comes from the word sabuan, the wooden pole used to help push their vintas in shallow waters or to tide them for anchorage purposes. Who are the Samals? Samals are Samal are one of the natives of Zamboanga Peninsula. They live in houses built on bamboo stilts along the seashore, and their main occupations are fishing and trading. The Sama are spread in many parts of Mindanao. In this part of the country, this indigenous group of people is best known of their skills in boat building, mat weaving, and pearl diving. When not in fishing, some are engaged in agriculture. Who are the Badjaus? The Badjaus are called sea gypsies because they move with the wind and tide on their small houseboats called vintas. They live in the boathouses or in the bamboo stilt houses along the coast of the little islands of the peninsula. Even up to the present, many Badjaus still live in the boathouses. They use sagwan to push their boats in the water. They are likewise excellent swimmers because of their great experience in diving. They can stay underwater longer than the most casual swimmers. And the Spanish colonizers found difficulty in pronouncing Zamboangan and instead they called the place Zamboanga. It was in 1569 when the Spaniards made their presence felt with the small Catholic missions established briefly at La Caldera, now known as Recodo. Much later, on June 23, 1635, the cornerstone of what is now known as Fort Pilar was laid by Father Melchor de Vera, a Jesuit priest, engineer, and the Spanish authorities. This date marked the change of the name of the place from Zamboangan to Zamboanga. It is the city's founding date. In 1899, immediately after the Spanish-American War in the Philippines, the United States of America established full authority in Zamboanga. A special form of government was established in Mindanao and Cebu. Zamboanga was made the capital, the first form of which was the Moro province, and during the 12 years of its existence, the American military government in the Philippines converted Zamboanga into a city in the commission form, the first province of Mindanao to become a city. However, the government of the Moro province was abolished to give way to a new form of government, the Department of Mindanao and Cebu. This form of government entrusted to the Filipino residents of Zamboanga practically all positions in government. The Commonwealth of the Philippines on 1936 declared Zamboanga as a charter city. Progress and development in Zamboanga continued in 1983. The Minister Interior Jose Ronio proclaimed Zamboanga City as a highly urbanized city. The original people of Zamboanga were the Sobanin of Indonesian origin who came at about 2,000 to 6,000 years ago. When the Muslims arrived, they pushed into the hinterlands and lived along the river banks. Thus the name Suba, meaning people of the river. Cotabato, also known as the province of Cotabato, was a historical province of the Philippines established in 1914 that existed until its dissolution in 1973. The province capital from 1920 to 1967 was Cotabato City of the same name, while Pagalungan became its capital from 1967 to 1973. Cotabato City was formerly a part and the regional center of Region 2, but due to the ratification of the Bangsamoro Organic Law, it is now part of Bangsamoro and now serves as the regional center. Being an independent component city, it is not subject to regulation from the provincial government of Maguindanao del Norte, where it is geographically located. The Philippine Statistic Authority also lists Cotabato City as statistically independent. It was the capital of Sultanate of Maguindanao, which fought against Spain, the United States, and Japan. Originally a district of the former Moro province, on September 1, 1914, the Department of Mindanao and Cebu provided with autonomous government through Act number 2408, enacted on July 23, 1914, converted the district into a province along with other former Moro province districts Davao, Lanao, Sulu, Zamboanga, and its former sub-province Bukidnon. Davao, Lanao, and Zamboanga were then later split and partitioned into different current provinces while Sulu and Bukidnon remain what it is today. On June 18, 1966, South Cotabato was separated from the province through Republic Act number 4849. That very same day, the provincial capital was moved from Cotabato City to Pagalungan. The province was one of the largest provinces of the Philippines. It was dissolved on 1973, comprising what are now the provinces of Cotabato, which is North, South Cotabato, Maguindanao del Norte, Maguindanao del Sur, Sultan Kudarat, and Sarangani. On November 22, 1973, the remaining territories of the province of Cotabato was divided into North Cotabato, Maguindanao, and Sultan Kudaratcho Presidential Decree number 341. On March 7, 1984, North Cotabato was renamed to simply Cotabato through Batas Pambansa Building 660. On March 16, 1992, the province of Sarangani was formed out of South Cotabato.
Hello, I am Christian Mabini. We'll discuss about the history of Maguindanao, Cagayan de Oro, and Davao City. Maguindanao is a province located in the autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao. Maguindanao was once a powerful sultanate that ruled over the southern Philippines. The sultanate had a strong ties with the Islamic world, which influenced the culture and traditions of the Maguindanao people. In the 16th century, the sultanate was colonized by the Spanish, which led the conversion of many Maguindanaon to Christianity. The Sultanate played a significant role in the resistance against the Spanish colonization and later the American occupation. The Sultanate was a powerful political entity in the Mindanao for several centuries until it was dissolved by the Spanish in the late 19th century. Today, Maguindanao people are known for their rich culture heritage, particularly in arts, craft, and traditional music. Davao City is the largest city in the Philippines and was originally inhabited by Bagobo and Mandapo tribes. Spanish colonizers arrived in the area in the late 80s and established several settlements. In 1848, a Spanish colonizer named Don Jose Cruz de Uyangarin was sent by the Governor-General of the archipelago to conquer and subdue the entire Gulf district of Davao, expel or pacify the Morons, and establish Christian religion. Uyangarin arrived in Davao with 70 men and women and found an ally in Datu Datupuan, chief of Samal Mandaya. They attacked Datu Bagu's fortified settlements at the mouth of the Davao River, where Bolton Bridge is now located, but their initial attack failed. Uyangarin then erected a barrier at Piapi for their defense and construct a causeway across Nepal Swamp to dry section of Miao's now at the Claveria Street Junction to bring his cannon with range to Datu Baguan settlement. It took 3 months to construct the causeway, and Uyangarin had fed off Datu Bagu harassment attack against the worker. Eventually, the Spanish colonizer were successful in establishment a de facto government in Davao. During World War II, the Japanese occupied Davao and controlled various industries but faced resistance from the Moron. It was occupied the Japanese who controlled the various industries including abaca, opera, timber, fishing, and trading, but they fought against by the Morons. In the 1950s, people from the other part of the Philippines moved to Davao for job opportunities, and in the 1960s, banana and pineapple plantation became popular. Although social unrest was prevailed during this time. Today, Davao is known as thriving economic and diverse culture and stunning natural attraction such as Mount Apo at the highest peak in the Philippines. It is a city rich in history and culture, and it's continued to grow and thrive as one as major economic hub of the Philippines. Moving on to the Cagayan de Oro, the city was founded in the 1622 by Spanish missionary and is initially called Kalambaguhan because of the luxuriant growth of lambaguhan trees. It renamed Cagayan de Oro in 1871 and officially declared a city in 1950. The area where the city is now located was originally inhabited by the Higaon and Bukidnon tribes. Cagayan de Oro was once a thriving trading center that connect the northern and southern part of Mindanao. It is the largest city in the northern coast of Mindanao and acts as a bed of trade extending as far as the Surigao to the east, Misamis to the west, and to the northern tip of Carmen River in the Cotabato to the south. The central location of the city is easily make it terminus of major land transportation companies of Mindanao. During World War II, Cagayan de Oro served as base Allied force in the Philippines. The city played a crucial role in the Philippine Revolution and Philippine-American War, with several key battles fought in the area. After gaining independence from the United States, the city became center of trade, commerce, and education in the region. The city experienced rapid economic growth in 1960s and 1970 due to the establishment several industries including sugar mining and paper manufacturing. Today, Cagayan de Oro is known for its beauty, natural attraction, including waterfalls, river, and mountains.
Butuan, during the pre-colonial time, was known as the Regente of Butuan, an indigenous kingdom known for its milagolic industry and sophisticated naval technology. The Regente flourished at the 10th and 11th century CE and had an extensive trade network with the Champa civilization and the Saribaya Empire. Today, Butuan is known as the home of the Balangays. A balanghay o balangay is a large wooden boat with colorful sails that was used as a mode of transportation during the pre-Hispanic era. Butuan is located at the northern part of the Agusan Valley, Mindanao. Strolling across the Agusan River, it is bounded to the northwest and the South Bay Agusan. Butuan is also known as Timber City of the South. Butuan, or officially known as the City of Butuan, is well known for being a first-class urbanized city and a regional center of the Caraga region of the Philippines. Butuan's industry is mainly driven by timber, hence earning Butuan the nickname Timber City of the South. Capital of Butuan, Cabadbaran. Butuan was the capital of the province of Agusan del Norte until 2000, when the Republic of 1811 transferred the capital to the Cabadbaran. History of General Santos City. The city is named for General Paulino Santos, who directed the permanent settlement, mostly by Christian Filipino migrants, and the development of the Coronadal Valley that began in the mid-1930s. General Santos City is located at the head of Sarangani Bay of the Celebes Sea along the